Hello everyone, good morning, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lauren. Let me quickly introduce myself if you are new here. And if you are new here, I hope you would subscribe and stick around. But my name is Lauren, and I come here about once a week on Mondays to talk a little bit about drug rehab, drug addiction, and, kind of what we find along the way of getting sober, of being in recovery, and, maybe what you may find along the way and what you're finding along the way. I just want to remind you that I am not a doctor and I'm not a therapist. I am just a regular person like you, maybe, that started doing drugs at a younger age and got very caught up in it, and to the point where I couldn't function without them. And I have been sober now for 4 years, and along the way I've definitely found things that are interesting enough for me to get on here and to talk to you about it. So today I want to talk about something that you'll hear a lot if you go to AA, or if you go to NA, or even when you are in recovery or rehab. And the 3 things that you need to stay away from. It's people, places, and playgrounds. Okay, this is really, really important. It's the first thing that comes to mind is, oh my God, I can't hang out with any of my friends anymore. I mean, what am I going to do in my spare time? And that's kind of true, but not all the way true. So, okay, I will tell you one of my biggest eye-openings that I've had when it comes to, people, places, and playgrounds. And that is, this year is the first year that I was able to actually watch football. I'm a big football fan. My husband's a big football fan. And we weren't able to watch football the last 3 years. He's also in recovery. We actually met in recovery. We've never known each other to be addicted, we've never known each other when we were high or in active addiction. We've only known each other during recovery, which I think is great, because I don't think he would have liked me very much during my active addiction, because I didn't like myself very much. So, football. And it wasn't the fact that it's the bars that I would go to or any of that, or the people that I'd be around, but the feeling that football would give to me inside. And maybe you can relate this with something else that you care a lot for, or that you're really into and that you root for, but you get these ups and downs and highs and lows, and I couldn't deal with that. I could not deal with that. And I knew that that would cause me to either drink or to pick up some kind of drug. And I really, really want to just make you aware of these kind of things. Football was one thing for me. There's many others. So I would say that football was a thing. Another thing was people, my family. Not just because, when they get together, they like to drink wine and they like to have a good time. That really wasn't it. That was a part of it. But another part was just, how could I handle being around them, with their ups and downs, and them maybe not understanding where I am, questioning me questioning me, and the feelings that gives me, like the insecurities that made me feel. So I stayed away from them. I would talk to them on the phone. I would maybe go and meet one, but all of them in a group, it was just way too much for me. So I skipped Thanksgiving the first year. The second year, I went to Thanksgiving dinner, but I didn't stay very long. I basically ate and left and excused myself. The third year was finally I started feeling myself feeling better, and really enjoying the time. But this year was really the best year. Like, I got there earlier, I stayed later, Drinking, nothing even crossed my mind. I now know how to socialize. So when I get back to when you think, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to hang out with my friends again, what am I going to do? I mean, well, if recovery is important to you, which I hope it is, you will understand and you will make it your number one priority. And so friends and even family, all of these things take a second seat to your recovery. So if you don't think you can handle it, if you don't think you can handle being around people that do the things that you are trying to walk away from, that you actually are walking away from, then don't go around them. Once you start feeling yourself, knowing yourself, realizing that, and when I say feeling yourself, I mean like feeling how you feel inside, like your emotional state, not just like physically, because you're going to, of course, be physically ill. Your body's going to go through physical things also, but the emotional and the mental part is the one that sticks around a little bit longer, so those are the things that I needed to pay more attention to. One of the best things I've ever heard was that give yourself time and this too will change. Everything changes. So if you feel really bad today, or if you really are feeling like you can be around this person or that person, or you really don't feel like you can make it to your work function, or maybe they're having a party because it's at a bar and you feel weird not drinking, then just excuse yourself from it. It will change. Things get better. So you just need to give yourself time. And don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about all of that. Because I promise you, they are not as concerned about you as you think they are. People are really more focused on themselves. And if you excuse yourself from a family function, or if you excuse yourself from a work function because it's at a place that you don't think that you can handle, I think that it's more in your head mentally, like, I need to go, I can't not be there. What will they think? Now, you need to excuse yourself from that, though. You can't just not show up and think that people aren't going to be like, well, what happened to them? Give them either your honest, which I always find to be very, very helpful. But with work, it's a little funny. I mean, you don't want to tell them, unless you do, but I never wanted to tell them, hey, I don't drink because I'm in I'm in recovery. I just never feel comfortable saying that. So basically, I just don't drink. Why? Just have one drink. No, I just don't drink. You could say you're on a diet, or you could just say that, just for many different reasons. People usually don't push. They don't push it on you if you say no. Now, friends might, but your coworkers, they really won't. They will back off. I've had one that got really kind of pushy, and I just kept standing my ground. No, I don't feel like having a drink. Then finally I said, I cannot have a drink. And he's like, oh, okay. So anyways, so people, places, and playgrounds. And so of course a playground would be places that you play at, like clubs and bars and, maybe even like coffee shops. I don't know. Any place that you tend to find people to steer you back into doing any kind of drug. I have heard people say that if you are a drug addict, like narcotics, that you can drink, or vice versa, whatever. Like, oh, you can drink because you weren't addicted to that. And you know what? I used that one myself before. I used that the first time I got sober, and it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because when I would drink, it lowers my inhibitions, and I hope I'm saying that word right, but it lowers it, and I will end up doing the drug of my choice. I don't like the feeling of being drunk or tipsy or whatever, buzzed by alcohol. I've never liked that, but it will lead me to finding my drug of choice. And it's amazing how it does that. I would get people drinking so we could get to the point where we wanted to go and use like another drug. At first they're like, no, we don't want to go out. We don't want to party tonight. Nothing like that. And I would be like, okay, well, let's just have some drinks. And then after they started drinking, they were like, okay, let's go find some cocaine or whatever, but at first they were like, no. And that's exactly my point. You lower your willpower, I guess, your inhibitions, if I'm saying that right, to stay sober. So I just wanted to come to you today to talk to you a little bit about those things, and, to really kind of listen to yourself, and do not allow other people to push you to where you think you cannot handle it. If you cannot handle it being at home by yourself, well, maybe move in with an aunt, uncle, or mom, dad, sister for a couple months. You need to really do what you think you need to do to keep yourself sober. And if you really want it, remember, drug addicts are some of the smartest people out there. They can get what they want when they want it. If they really wanted to find drugs and they had no money, no ride, nothing, they'd still find it somehow. I would, and I know most of you out there would too. Very smart, conniving, smart people, okay? So if you really want to be sober and you really want to stay where you are, you will find a way. You will find a way. So if you have a moment, and I would love it if you, of course, subscribed, and maybe tell me any of your places, people, playgrounds that you have found to really kind of trigger you in your first year or so of being in sobriety. If you're not in sobriety, maybe you could start thinking about some places that might be on your list. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this. I thank you so much for being here and listening to me. Remember, my name is Lauren, and I will come back next Monday and do it again. Have a great day.